What I'm going to talk to you about is something I firmly believe in. It's a secret of great salespeople and great coaches. And you bet your behind this works. So we look at number 3 then, and it kind of goes hand in hand, and that is vocal tone and body language. I don't know whether many of you are familiar, I know a few of you are, of the famous 738-55 survey research done by a professor at UCLA, right? At UCLA, Dr. Mehrabian. And this is fascinating, and I teach it all the time when we're talking about effective communication. Effective communication happens in this order. 7% of what's actually said makes a difference. 7%. 39% is vocal tone. 55% is body language. That's 93% of people's effective communication is based on everything except what is said. And if you don't believe it, if you ever said to your spouse, had your spouse say, well, how do I look in this outfit? I go, okay. And she goes, it doesn't sound like it's okay. How many of you have talked to somebody before and they say something that you perceive to be something you don't like or agree with, and you go, now wait a minute. And then you go, oh, what did you say? We've all done that. What did you say? Oh, okay, that's okay. We've got to be very careful. But, in vocal tone is lifting it up. It's being quiet when necessary. Body language is the positive. Walk, talk, smile. Yeah, that's great. Let's go see your yard. Let's talk. Let's do it. That's body. But if you come in with, can I ask you some questions? I can tell you my rates maybe. Anybody done this? I can tell you my rates. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you. I mean, it's vocal tone. People can tell if you're scared to death. Now, look, for new coaches have been around a long time, whatever, you've got to monitor this all the time. How do I sound? I used to record myself in sessions just so I go back and listen to it and what's the quality of. I even, has anybody used the software tool called Grammarly? Grammarly's cool, but if you look down at the bottom of every weekly report you get, it rates your emotional sound to the letters you're writing. It'll say it was positive and confident, or it'll say you're snarky. I mean, it doesn't use that word. That's too advanced, but it will give you that, and I'm constantly monitoring that because again, how I say things. Let me give an example. You're sitting with a client that's got a big problem, a prospect, you got to be problem and say, we'll talk about this more in a minute. But I've sold a lot of deals because I go, I understand what your needs are, and you know what? I can help you with all of them. That's a lot better than going, we can give it a try. I can help you with most of them. I don't know. You got to think about it. How do you sound? Do you sound as if you're somebody they would want to work with because they don't have those skills of being positive, or they're just beat up? We all have had clients that are just literally beat up, right? They just don't know where to go. The fastest I ever closed a client one time was about 4 minutes. And the guy, I knew something was wrong when I walked in the door because I was observing his body language. And I didn't even go into all the questions I used. I just said, so, Nick, what's going on? And this guy just started going, bleh, this is what's happening. And and he goes, I don't have any friends, and I don't see my family because I'm working 90 hours a week, and I've got 3 offices, and I've got cots in all 3 offices, and I go sleep in them, and I just don't have anybody to talk to, and it's lonely, and I can't talk to my board, I can't talk to my wife, I can't talk to my employees. And I said, stop. I usually don't interrupt, but stop. If you hire me right now, We'll walk arm in arm through the fire together. You'll never be alone again. And he goes, you're hired. That's because you're watching the emotion. You're digging to the point. You're not making assumptions. And I offered hope, right? I mean, we've got to create the perception of somebody that they can't find in their lives, that they can't find helping them, which leads us then into number 4. And number 4 is understanding by listening. Let me tell you a fact. I was talking to James in Europe last night, but I've worked with clients in 18 countries. And I work with $200 billion companies, and my smallest client is a graphic artist in New York City. And I'm telling you, the problem I see worldwide in business is that listening is a lost art. Listening is a lost art. You know what? Want to know how to look good to your prospects real fast? Act like you're listening. It's that simple, people. Because people just don't listen. I had a guy who had this big problem, and I'm starting to give him his answer, and he pulls out and checks his email. Anybody ever had that happen? I've had people applying for jobs, and they come in and we're doing an interview, and they go, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm listening, go ahead. Well, I put a big check mark, and we end the conversation in about 3 minutes, right? But listening is a lost art, and so we have to stop telling, and we have to ask more questions. And I have a simple process that I do on that. I ask questions, then I shut up and listen. How unique. I shut up and listen, and I write down what they tell me. I never interrupt them. But I always then will verify. I'll verify what they're saying. So I will say, Greg, what I heard you say was, you spend 90 hours a week, and if you could have a way to get out of that, it'd be worth a lot to you. Did I hear that right? Yes. I won't say any more. I'll just write that down, and I'll make a list. What I heard and so I'll go that, I'll listen and verify, and once I've verified it, I can then, and only then, if you've listened, if you've verified, then you earn the right to use the 3 most powerful words in any coaching presentation. You ready? The 3 most powerful words. I've got 3 words and 1 phrase that makes me millions. You know what the 3 words are? You come and do this, you've earned the right to say, you told me. You told me, Greg, that this is important. Did I hear that right? I verify again. And you also told me that you needed a vacation, right? And that's really important. And you told me that if we could save time and do in 50 hours what you do in 90 hours, that would be worth millions of dollars. Well, based on what you told me, I can do all those things. I can help you. And then a lot of people know my then famous, big time, top secret closing line is, so can we start Tuesday? Closing doesn't have to be an explosion and fireworks. It should be incidental if you've listened and shut up and listened and took your notes and then verified and fed back to them what they're telling us, which again, we can't come in with preconceived ideas. We've got to understand what their needs are. And if you come in with a spiral notebook or something, say, well, we're going to go through this and then we'll get to your needs here in about 4 months. Understand that almost every prospect that you have is an entrepreneur in today's world. You have to be. You can't run business the way you used to run business. They have to be entrepreneurial and thinking or they're going to die. And they all will have different needs. They all will have different thoughts. And we cannot preempt that of what we think they need. So we have to listen, verify, and earn the right to say, you told me. That is really, really powerful.